Home Team Heroes, presented by Sobeys, Canada's family grocery store.
Life is not always kind to those who go first. The act of breaking down barriers comes at a cost, and recognition isn't guaranteed. Well, that was almost the fate of Henry Buddy Maracle, a hockey hero who was nearly forgotten.
He faced incredible challenges as an Indigenous hockey player, not only trying to make a team in a very small and exclusive and mostly white NHL in the 1920s and 30s, but he was trying to make his way in Canada at that time, and that can't have been easy.
Buddy Maracle was born in Ayr, Ontario. It's a town not far from the Six Nations of the Grand River, the traditional home of Maracle's Mohawk ancestors. In 2018, local reporter Irene Schmidt-Aidney received a tip from a reader about Maracle's story.
I had a call from a subscriber, and he had read an article in the Globe and Mail about Black History Month. But in the Black History Month article was a brief mention of Henry Maracle, born in Ayr. From my frame of mind, he could be the first Six Nations NHL player. And of course, when I started to dig deeper, it became first Indigenous NHL player.
In the 1920s, Maracle's career was often covered with belittling references to his heritage, an ugly but not uncommon reality at the time. But there was also, inevitably, a recognition of his talent.
I was happy to see that he was trying to succeed in a sport that at the time was very racist. Seeing the old newspaper clippings and what they were calling him, that part really hit home. I didn't like it. But then I'd have to remember that this is back then when they didn't give a damn about what they were saying about people.
Despite what Maracle had to endure, he would achieve his goal of reaching the NHL.
The Rangers in January of 1931 needed a forward, so he was an injury call-up. He stayed with the team for 11 games, so he had a good run with them. He did score a goal and added 3 assists. He played 4 playoff games, and that was it for his NHL career.
He was a trailblazer. I think it shows, even though there's a lot of obstacles, you can still continue on and try to go over the obstacles and become whoever you want to be.
After retiring from hockey, Maracle and his historic achievements were largely forgotten.
He ended up in Dallas. I think he worked as a mechanic and maybe a salesman, and he died in the 50s of kidney failure, I believe. And by that time, his story had already been forgotten. The NHL certainly, and hockey historians in general, had forgotten about Buddy Maracle.
It is so relevant now, especially because of what he had to overcome to get where he was.
His story went unrecognized for nearly a century, but Buddy Maracle may well have been the first Indigenous player to play in the NHL. Undeniably, his life is worth not only remembering, but celebrating. One of the countless stories of Indigenous excellence nearly lost.
When I was finally able to confirm and be confident enough that we could publish the story, I felt like it was a celebration for Six Nations.
The fact that I'm now 51 years old and I'm just learning my language, I'm just learning about my culture because my great-grandparents, they were forced to renounce their traditional beliefs. I've lost generations of all that information that now I'm trying to find again.
To help them put together a piece of their history, I certainly felt it was reason to celebrate. Buddy's story was tragic under some circumstance, but it should be cause for celebration.
I think he would be very happy today to see where Indigenous people are with playing hockey. I think he would just get a kick out of what's going on.
Home Team Heroes, presented by Sobeys, Canada's family grocery store.